Today, I'm going to be talking all about my beauty routine and why it's important to me. And I've shared over and over again that I'm so vain, and it's true. I like to look good. And I think for many years when I was younger, especially right out of college, working in finance in a male dominated industry, feeling like at times I was fighting to be taken seriously anyway, I felt a tension within myself at this desire to look good, but also not feel vapid. And I wanted to feel like I had substance because I feel like I do. And I felt like society was trying to be like, yeah, I got to choose between looking good and being taken seriously. And I just never bought into that. Like I said, I did sort of sometimes have these internal tensions, but I was like, I'm doing me. And I do care about how I look. I like to look good. It makes me feel better. And the older I've gotten and the less I give a fuck about everything and what anyone thinks, the more I have owned that. And I talk about it very openly. So let's get into it because I get asked about it often. Now, I will say this: the happier and less stressed you are, the better you look. Period. That is just true. So when I talk about getting organized and eliminating pain points in our lives, this is a piece of it. It is certainly not the reason I do it. It's not for vanity. I'm not actually that vain, but not only is it a nice byproduct, I think it is really hard to look and feel your best when you feel like the rest of your life is a dumpster fire. So the more organized you get, the more on top of your life you are, the fewer pain points you have. Like, it makes sense because you're getting more sleep. You have less cortisol coursing through your veins. You're able to make healthier choices because you're not stress eating, right? Like, all of those things help you look better. Well, that's not the topic of today's podcast, but just to know that that really all is a piece of it. Okay. So I like looking good because it makes me feel good. Even if I am home alone and I am not going to be on a Zoom call and I've got nothing that I'm going to be doing out and about in the world, because I do have some days like that, I still like to put myself together. And what that usually means is having my hair and makeup done. I like to wear comfortable clothes. I've shared before, I have some sensory issues in certain parts of my body. It is less tolerable than others for things to be tight. So my biggest area is my waist. I cannot handle things being too tight around my waist. Then it's my ankles, like anything too tight on my ankles. And then, like, just sometimes if you don't have sensory issues, you're probably like, what is she even talking about? But if you know, you know. Sometimes everything feels off. Like if something's tight on my thighs, like a tight pair of jeans. So I have figured out my ways of being comfortable, like picking clothes that feel comfortable, but that I don't feel frumpy and unattractive in. So that is not the topic. Again, just going to keep saying things. This is not the topic of today's conversation, but it's tangentially related, but I'm not going to be talking about fashion and what I wear. I am more going to be talking about my beauty routines and how I put myself together. But I do always want to make sure that I have an outfit on that is put together. A lot of times it is of the comfortable, stretchy clothes variety. So if you see me out and about running errands or dropping my kids off, that's what I'm wearing. If I have a meeting or an event or something to go to, then I will be putting on what I think we call real clothes these days. But most days I am not dressed like that. So I'm going to talk about some of my pillars of feeling good before I get into specifics about beauty routines. And if you are a longtime listener of the podcast, you know that I have 2 episodes on Love Your Body, which I don't know the episode numbers off the top of my head. I will drop them in the show notes. I'll link those 2 episodes below so that you can easily find them. But that in those episodes, I talk more about the things that I do to take care of my body and sort of my pillars for looking and feeling good. I'm not going to reiterate those here in any great detail, but they are a piece of looking good. And so sleep, making sure I get enough sleep. When I don't get if I get less than 7.5 hours of sleep, my face shows it. My face gets poofy. I get bags under my eyes. So obviously I get sleep, number one, so that I can feel good, but it's hard to look good when you haven't gotten a lot of sleep. I always drink water. Water is the primary beverage that I consume throughout the day. I used to need a gallon of water a day to feel good. I recently, well, not even so recently, maybe the past year, I have found it harder to get that much down. It didn't used to be a struggle before. Now it is harder. So I probably drink half of that in a day, but still drink a lot of water. That helps. I work out 5 days a week because it is good for my body. It is good for my bones. Now that I'm 45, I know I need to do it. And because it makes me look good. I heard someone say that they want to be someone who looks like they work out. And I'm like, I do too. When I was younger, I wanted to be like, I want to look like someone who's just naturally put together. And now I'm like, no, I work hard to stay fit. I want to look like someone who works out. I'm still working on it. I have a very hard time building muscle, and I love that lean, muscular aesthetic. I'm working on it. Everything's a work in progress. So that is another thing for beauty routine, and orgasms. Having good sex, I think, gives you a little pep in your step, gives you a little sparkle in your eye. So that is another piece of it. So those are some of my pillars of looking good, but let's get into some specifics. So I wash my hair once or twice a week max. Okay. And one time a week, I will get a blowout. So usually when I'm washing my hair, it's when I'm getting a blowout. Sometimes I'll have to wash it again in between, and then I'm just doing it myself. So when I get a blowout, that's it. Then I feel like it's done for the week. But how do I keep it up? So every night I use a dry shampoo. I don't have a favorite. I used to have a favorite. I've now recently been playing around with some new dry shampoos for brunettes. I have very dark hair, like dark brown hair. And if you are not watching me on video, if you've never seen me on video, my hair is it's not black, but it is very dark. And so most dry shampoos, if you've ever used them, come out white. So I've been playing around with some dark ones. I found a new one that I think I'm in love with, but I've only been using it for about 4 nights. So I'm going to use it for a bit longer and make sure that it is really good. But I use dry shampoo at night and like really kind of get it into the roots. And then I put my hair in a low pony with a silk scrunchie. I have tried sleeping with my hair in a twisted bun on top of my head, a twisted bun at the nape of my neck. For some reason, I feel like sleeping with it in a silk scrunchie in a low pony on a silk pillowcase helps the blowout. Having said that, I do still need to recurl it a bit in the morning. And that's what I use my Dyson Airwrap for. So obviously I shower daily. So my hair goes in a high bun on top of my head with a shower cap. And then when I get out of the shower, I will brush it out and recurl it with the Dyson Airwrap. I paid full price for mine, and it is worth every penny. With the exception of the day I get a blowout, I use it every single day. Now, I am super impressed with people who know how to use a curling iron. I've watched many a video on it. I can't get it down without getting that crimp in my hair. I have tried wands. I've tried the wands that curl for you, like you press the button and it twists. That they're better, but better than when I was trying to use an actual curling iron. But I just find the Dyson Airwrap is just the best thing for me. It is also more delicate on your hair. My hair breaks off easily. And so I do find that the Airwrap feels, it's still heat that you're putting on your hair, but it does feel better than a curling iron. I should be paid by Dyson. I've gotten so many people to buy that. I absolutely love it. So that is hair. Let's talk about face. So I have lash extensions. I've had them for, my goodness, I've had them since before I was pregnant with my daughter, who's 11. So 12 years. And I've had a few. stints of giving my lashes of rest, I have an amazing lash tech who has done my lashes that this whole time, and she takes really good care of them. So, and people are like, are your lashes damaged underneath? Probably, but guess what? So are my nails with having this gel on top of them. I don't care because I always have them on. So, um, lash extensions I do every few weeks. I like them really full, and I'm not going for a natural look with them, but I love how it looks. And I feel so much more put together having my lashes on. I do wear makeup daily, but I do feel like having the lashes, I can wear less makeup. The other thing is I have my brows microbladed. I used to covet women who had full, just beautifully arched brows, and I could never get them on my own because my eyebrow hair is very fine. I got my eyebrows microbladed for the first time in 2008. People, I know like people feel like it's a recent thing. It's not. It's been around for a very long time. And so I do an annual boost, they call it, because it's called like semi-permanent makeup, but like it really is permanent. It's not going away. So you have to go to someone who's so, so good, but it does fade. And so you need to get an annual boost. So I do that. So brows and lashes, I feel like make a big difference on your face because they frame your face. So I do that. And then I wear tinted SPF every single morning, friends, every single mornings. I'm not in love with any particular skincare brands. I've been testing out new things. I shared that I am on this hormone replacement journey as part of perimenopause, and I went on an estrogen patch and I immediately got pretty significant melasma, which could mean that I didn't need as much estrogen as I was on. Anyway, I immediately took it off and I'm not going back on it because I'm not trading one problem for another. That is not what I am about here. So I've been seeing a new dermatologist. I got a chemical peel and I'm on a new regimen of vitamin C, AHA, and BHA. I'm still figuring out. The bottom line is I don't have anything incredibly helpful to share with you right now about what skincare I use. But I use serums and creams every morning and every night. It is something I'm religious about, but more so I am religious about putting on tinted SPF every morning on face. Try and do it on your neck. If you remember, do it on your hands because your hands show your age also. But I am, you know me, I am like, I would rather invest in something significant to make my life easier on a daily basis. So what do I mean by that? Lasers. I have done a lot of face lasers because I feel like ultimately they are a bigger bang for your buck in less time than trying to rely on the skin serums and creams, which I still do use, but nothing's a miracle. So I have done many a face laser through the years, never anything that's had any downtime. Some of those lasers can get really scary. And first of all, no matter who you're going to, you want to make sure you trust them and they're great and they're an actual board certified doctor. I would not go to an esthetician for lasers. It might be the esthetician in the doctor's office that is doing it, and that is fine. But you want to be doing that at a med spa that has an actual doctor who's board certified associated with it. So I've never done any of the scary ones where there's major downtime. I'm not there yet. I do the ones that are just a bit gentler, but I've done things to address sunspots. I mean, my the things I'm focusing on now at this age, sunspots, um, you know, collagen boosting so that you get some of that fullness and tightness back, and fine line and wrinkles, which of course I also treat with Botox. But I am a fan of lasers. They are expensive. So I would say if someone were to ask me what my hobbies are, I would say first and foremost, sitting around and doing nothing. Second would be listening to erotica. And then third would be beauty appointments. I just find it fun. I find it a worthwhile place to invest my money, not just because of the results, but because like I actually enjoy this. I think it is fun to do this. For me, it's just fun. It's like it is my hobby. And yes, it can be expensive, but I enjoy the actual process of it. in addition to how I look afterwards. What I don't enjoy about it is the amount of time it takes out of my schedule, because I am very busy and I have a lot of beauty treatments in a given month between blowouts and hair. I know that blowouts is hair, lashes, nails, lasers. It does take time, but if I think of it as my hobby, I'm like, okay. So, speaking of nails, I get my nails done every 2 weeks. I do gel polish on top of clear gel so that they're very strong. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, I'm showing you my nails. I just changed the shape. I like to play around with them a little bit. I'm not adventurous with colors. I usually have like white or some variation of black. It's not actual black, but looks black. But sometimes I've got almonds, sometimes I've got rectangle shape, but I always like to have my nails done. So having hair, lashes, brows, nails done, like you feel so done up, even if you're wearing a matching sweat set and have a little bit of makeup on. So those, because people will be like, you always look so put together. And I do put myself together daily, but that is a piece of it. And that's kind of all done for me already. All right. So kind of veering all over the place. So I've talked about lasers. I've talked about Botox. I am not at all a fan of filler. I've done it and do it every few years in my lips, but nowhere else. I've tried it other places in my face, and I don't like it. I think it migrates. I think it makes people look poofy. I think there's more downside to it than upside. So, okay, I like it in lips, but I've like tried it I've tried it other places. It's a no for me. It's a no. I'm not into it. I think there's other things that are worth trying. I think the potential for filler to not look good is just too high. Even if you go to someone who's amazing and reputable and great, I think it's not for me. No judgment. Obviously, no judgment. Do whatever you're going to do. I'm like, I'm putting it all out there. I'm not judging what anyone else is doing. I'm simply sharing that I don't think it is, I don't think you get the desired result. If I thought you did, I would absolutely be doing it. So it's not like if you have it in your face and you love it, then stick with it. But for me, I just feel like I'm not interested. I mean, never say never, because listen, I could be re-recording this, recording an episode a year from now, being like, I love filler all over, but this has been my stance for a while. And even when I've gone to my med spa and they're like, I think you could benefit from a little filler under your eyes, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. It's just, I'm not doing it. Okay. Let's talk about makeup. So I do makeup daily. And if I am going to be filming something, especially with no filter, with no lighting, I will wear heavier makeup. I have a concealer that is, it's called like full coverage, where you can't see any spots through your skin. So I have that on right now, even though I'm wearing like a knit set that's like so comfy and casual. I've got full makeup on. In my day-to-day life, if I'm not going to be on camera, I will wear more of like a CC cream than a foundation, something a lot thinner. But I wear that. I wear concealer, eyeliner, lower mascara, and that's it for makeup. So my daily getting ready on a day that I'm not washing my hair, from the time I step into the shower until the time that I am fully dressed makeup hair, is about 30 minutes. So I feel like that is very quick. So for me, it does not take a lot of time to feel put together, because like I said, my hair is so quick. It's like a recurl with the Dyson. I've got the lashes, so I don't have to wear a ton of makeup other than like on my my foundation if I'm going to be recording. And I buy clothes that I feel like flatter me and that I look good in and that I'm comfortable in. So it is super, super quick for me to get ready, which it really better freaking be with the amount of time that I spend getting blowouts, lashes, nails, right? Doing these appointments. I also get facials like twice a year. I don't overly love facials. I know some people look so glowy and dewy and they do facials all the time. I don't feel like they have that effect for me. I more do it just to like clean out my skin a couple times a year. But I would rather trade these bigger chunks of time, when I'm going to these appointments, and have a very quick routine daily. For me, it just works better that way. So that is The day-to-day beauty routine. I do also do some body treatments. Have had cellulite since I was in middle school, and I've tried a variety of cellulite treatments through the years. Some have had better results than others, but I'm like, I always say I'm a beauty treatments marketer's dream because I always like buy into the dream of it. And even though I know it might not work, I love the excitement and the optimism around it. I'm like, I'm going to give this a try. And if it doesn't work, I'm like, well, at least I tried. I always feel like I get some results to some extent. So, oh, speaking of body, I just was thinking about, sometimes in the morning after my shower, I will put some body oil on and I will use, I forget what the body version of like the facial gua sha is called, but I have one of those big like body paddles that sometimes I will do in the morning with some body oil to just get a little bit of lymphatic drainage going. Oh, I also, gosh, all the things. See, I take notes before these episodes to help me think of it. And if they're not in the notes, then they'll randomly pop into my head. So I do a dry brush before I get into the shower. I mean, for 30 seconds, like I'll dry brush my body. And then when I get out, I will do the body oil and the lymphatic drainage. Just again, it takes like 2 minutes. And I'm not a very frequent gua sha-er on my face, but if I feel particularly poofy or if I'm going to be doing like a photo shoot, something like that, then I will do it. All right. I talked about my brows. Oh, so I have my brows microbladed. And then as part of my weekly reset, I will go in and tweeze any stray hairs or trim any hairs that are sticking out. I do not have, nobody touches my brows other than my microblading artist. Like I don't get them waxed or tweezed. The beauty about having a great shape when your brows are microbladed is like, then you can maintain them in between. So I do that as part of my weekly reset. I have like a teeth thing. I had braces when I was younger, and then I ended up getting Invisalign when I was in my 30s. Very happy with the result. And I bleached my teeth just with like Crest white strips, or I've tried those ones that were all over Instagram. Oh, I'm blanking on the name. The ones that are for really sensitive teeth. Those are great too. I do that as part of my monthly reset. I will bleach my teeth. So if you see on my reset list, Beautify is a piece of it. That's usually what it is. It's tweezing my brows. It is bleaching my teeth. And as I'm doing my weekly and monthly beautification, I always am listening to either a podcast or one of my audiobooks. I just find it a fun and calming part of my self-care. So I love looking good. It makes me feel good. And when I feel good, I am nicer. I'm a nicer mom. I'm a nicer friend. I'm a nicer coach. I'm a nicer everything. So for me, it is important. And I am vain, but I don't feel overly obsessed with my looks. I don't feel like I am vapid. It's just something that I'm interested in, and I don't apologize for it. It just is, it's a piece of who I am, and I find it fun. I find it fun. I don't find it pressureful because I actually enjoy it. And so I invest in it in terms of time and money. And, I was thinking about it when there have been things in other people that I'm like, oh, I would love to have that for myself. I Either one of two things happens. You can do it for yourself, right? Like I wanted fuller brows and I got mine microbladed, or you can say that I'm just never going to look like that. And that is beautiful in that person. And it's never going to be me. Right. So sort of like you have to figure out where you are. And there are things that I've like, I want that. And there are things I'm like, oh, she looks so beautiful. And like, I'm never going to look like that, or I'm never going to be able to wear that. And that's okay. And don't feel badly about it. But I've said this a bunch with a lot of things. I think about this a lot with working out, but really with everything. Like you can't be upset at results you didn't get for work you didn't do. And for me, it is an investment in looking good. I do spend time and energy and money on it, but I've made it a priority so that my day to day, I can feel put together, but with a lot of ease. So if you've been thinking about stepping up your beauty routine, let me know if you've got any ideas or thoughts from this, or if you have anything that I've is not on my radar. I am always open to new suggestions. One thing I just started, literally, I started it last week and then did it again yesterday, is NAD injections, NAD plus injections for it's. I think primarily it's for cognition and to really help you like focus and it's for longevity, but it also is supposed to make you look really glowy and like reverse the clock. So I will keep you posted on that one, and I'll keep you posted on these new skincare products that I'm trying from my dermatologist. And maybe we'll do a follow-up episode if I have more specific recommendations. But in the meantime, explore your relationship with how you look and feel. And if it's something, if you feel like there are shifts that you could make to make yourself feel better, do it, because you deserve to feel amazing. You deserve to look amazing every single day because you're amazing. So go out there and make it a great day.